My sister shoved me into a maintenance closet at her prestigious gallery opening and crushed my hand in the heavy steel door. 20 minutes later, the fire department smashed the lock, and her elite triumph ended in flashing sirens and felony charges. That was the exact moment the pristine facade my family built finally shattered into a million undeniable pieces. I was 28, reliant on a custom power chair due to a degenerative nerve condition. I still showed up to the Monroe Arts Center in Chicago that Friday night because a foolish part of me hoped we could be a normal family celebrating a milestone. I wore a tailored emerald dress, powering through chronic fatigue, praying I wouldn't be treated like a burden. The venue was a spectacle of polished concrete and wealthy investors. My mother glided through the crowd, handing out artificial smiles. My father held court near the bar. My sister, Isabella, was the star. She scanned the room, her gaze snagging on my wheelchair like it was trash on her floor. She leaned in, her perfume suffocating, and hissed, "Stick to the corners. You're ruining the aesthetic." I reversed into a shadowed alcove, trying to make myself invisible. It wasn't enough. Around 8:45 p.m., the lead critic from a major publication arrived. Isabella's eyes went wide. She practically sprinted over, grabbed the back of my chair, and started pushing me toward a dark utility hallway. "Isabella, stop," I said, my voice trembling. "I can't drive when you push. It's not safe." She didn't care. She shoved the chair over a heavy threshold. I pitched violently to the side and grabbed the thick steel door frame to steady myself. Isabella didn't pause. "Get out of sight," she snarled, slamming the heavy fire door with all her weight. The metal crushed my fingers. A sickening crunch echoed in the narrow hall. I screamed, collapsing forward as my hand was trapped in the hinge, blood spilling onto the white tiles. Isabella gasped, but instead of helping, she panicked. She forced the door entirely shut, latching the deadbolt from the outside to hide the scene. I was left in total darkness, bleeding, and in blinding pain. But she forgot about the catering staff. A server walking down the hall dropped his tray when he saw the blood pooling under the door. He didn't look for my family. He pulled the fire alarm and dialed 911. At exactly 9:07 p.m., firefighters breached the hallway, using a Halligan bar to pry the door open. The gallery was utterly silent as paramedics rushed me out. Isabella tried playing the victim, crying to police that the door swung shut on its own. The server stepped right up to the lead officer. She shoved her and locked the deadbolt, he stated firmly. I saw it. The officer didn't hesitate. He pulled Isabella's arms behind her back in front of the city's most powerful art critics. The metallic click of handcuffs was the loudest sound in the room. At the hospital, X-rays confirmed 3 shattered fingers requiring reconstructive surgery. The real revelation came at 2:00 a.m. My parents didn't arrive to comfort me. They brought a corporate lawyer, demanding I sign a non-disclosure agreement to protect Isabella's investors. They offered $10,000 to say it was an accident. The hospital's social worker Clara overheard the exchange. She pulled my medical files to arrange discharge care and noticed a glaring discrepancy. My parents claimed they paid $5,000 a month for my aids, but my insurance flagged me as entirely state-funded. Clara contacted an adult protective services advocate who subpoenaed my family's financial records. The truth was devastating. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical injury. My parents hadn't been supporting me. They had illegally drained a $1.4 million trust fund my late grandfather left explicitly for my lifelong medical care, using every penny to finance Isabella's gallery and their luxury lifestyle. They had been forging my signature for years. The fallout was absolute. Isabella's gallery was seized and liquidated. She was convicted of aggravated assault. My parents faced massive federal embezzlement charges, losing their home, status, and freedom. I sued for the remaining assets and moved to a sunlit, fully accessible condo in Seattle. I finally had the financial independence I was always meant to have. Months later, my father called from a holding facility, begging for a character reference. I hung up without saying a word. True family doesn't lock you in the dark to make themselves shine. The greatest victory wasn't seeing them lose everything. It was finding the strength to roll out of their shadows and never look back.